Greetings, this is North Carolina Today, and I'm Mercedes Forney, your host. I'm here today with Mr. Frank Bordeaux. Mr. Bordeaux, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Mercedes.
Yes, it's lovely being here in your home. Wanted to talk with you about your background, educational background, and just share with us what you're doing currently. Now, we know that you are a businessman, of course, and you're the husband and father, and official referee for the NCAA. Have a beautiful wife, Faye Bordeaux, and beautiful children. Tell us some more about your background and why you've been in the Pitt County for the last 10 years.
Well, Mercedes, I started out in Wilmington, North Carolina, where I went to public school in general, not just high school, but public school from K all the way through 12. I am the son of William Bordeaux and the late Carrie Bordeaux. I have 3 sisters and 2 other brothers, and grew up in a very loving, caring family. Grew up in Gervais Projects in Wilmington, North Carolina, and moved from there to Ann Street, and from Ann Street I then went on to other public schools throughout the area. I left Wilmington, North Carolina in 1976 after graduating high school and entered Elizabeth City State University, where I graduated in May of 1980. And from Elizabeth City, I went to graduate school in Durham, North Carolina at North Carolina Central, where I did extensive work towards my master's degree in recreation administration. From there, I started my career in Boys and Girls Clubs at the Salvation Army Boys Club at that time, now Boys and Girls Club in Durham, North Carolina on Austin Avenue. I stayed with them 2.5 years, and I took a lateral move, went to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where I worked with the Boys and Girls Salvation Army Boys and Girls Clubs in Winston-Salem, before taking an executive appointment in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, to work for the Rocky Mount Boys Club at that time. While at Rocky Mount, we started out with about 25 to 30 kids in a small facility, about 1,500 square feet, and from that we grew that facility to where we raised money to build a facility, and that facility is still standing today on Raleigh Road. When I left Rocky Mount 19 years later, we had 5 locations, about 2,500 kids involved in Boys and Girls Clubs year-round, and a budget of about $1.2 million. And that was a crowd different from when I went in, but Boys and Girls Club was my love, it was my heart, it was my home, it was what I really enjoyed. From there, my wife decided she wanted to go into do her own business, and she decided to go into mental health. Today, Faye and I are owners of Cambridge Behavioral Health Services here in Greenville, North Carolina, as well as Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And we offer quality care from a mental health perspective throughout the eastern North Carolina. That's a little bit about me and where I've been and how I got to where I am.
To Pitt County.
Yes.
Now, currently, you are embarking upon a leadership role for the state of North Carolina. You are running for the 3rd District as North Carolina Senate. Tell us simply, Frankie, may I call you Frankie?
Yes, please. Please call me Frankie.
Okay. Why are you running for office?
Well, I'm one of the growing Americans or North Carolinians that's just frustrated with the government process. See, my wife's company needed help, and we in turn tried to get that help. We could never go directly through or directly to the senator himself in this district to get the help we needed. We always had to go through someone else to talk to him. We brought him in, and within 15 minutes he treated us as if we were less than average citizens or less than first-class citizens. And from that, we ended that meeting, and I then began to check into the incumbent's record and learn a little bit more about the incumbent and the district. And as I moved around the district, and this was 2.5 years ago, as I moved around the district, I found that people had the same frustration I had, not just with the incumbent, but with government in general in Raleigh. So the frustration continued to mount. And from there, I then decided that I would run for North Carolina Senate.
Okay. Now, what strategy should be implemented to bring the state's revenue and spending in line? You shared with us your reason why you're running, and it has been personal, but also you took it further because you saw or found out about other things that were happening throughout the state. So now, share with us your thoughts on implementing the state's revenue and the spending and getting spending in line.
Well, when you think of what's happened to us here in the state of North Carolina, A lot of people don't recognize that this incumbent is one that gave Apple Computer Company a $990 million tax break, and 2 months later came back and raised the gasoline taxes, which is the highest in the country, as well as sales taxes, and he balanced the books on the backs of the working class. It's not fair, it's not right, and from that, I have decided that I will make this fight the people's fight, not mine, because as you look around you, the people are hurting, and that is what drew me closer and closer to even wanting to run in this district. But even furthermore, how do we stop the bleeding? We are in a deep recession. What caused a deep recession in terms of my opinion for the state? Our legislators went to sleep at the wheel. And when they woke up, we were so deep into the recession that there was not a great deal they could do to stop it or circumvent it. So what I propose that we do is make a change. It's a great time to make a change and get someone that's going to represent Pitt County and Eastern North Carolina, such as Martin, Edgecombe, and Pitt. Get a representative that is truly going to represent the people and the people's interests, not special interests or big businesses or lobbyists. And that's where the interests of the incumbent actually lie. But how do we fix the problem is your question. When you're in a hole, you don't keep digging. So what do I mean by that? Let's stop the tax and spend deal. Let's put stoppage in place that's going to help us recognize where we are and what the actual expenditures are. And that they haven't done. So they continue to go with a failed leadership approach of this is what we did last year and maybe we can maintain that next year. That's not the way to do it. Let's put a halt to it. And let's build a budget from the ground up for each of those divisions. And then let's go ahead and trim the waste that is there, and let's trim the cronyism and the corruption that we see that line our state government today.
Okay. Unemployment. As you know, unemployment is at an all-time high in the state of North Carolina. What does the state need to do to create jobs in the eastern area of North Carolina? What would you do?
Well, let me first say that I am the only candidate of the five, and there are five of us running this race. There are 2 Republicans and 3 Democrats. I am the only candidate that has proposed a plan to put people back to work. Everyone is mentioning jobs, but not even the incumbent has a plan for putting people back to work. They simply want to rest on their laurels of where they've been and what they've created. The people in this district are hurting for jobs. Unemployment in Edgecombe County is 17.1%. That's almost twice the average of the national average. In Pitt County and in Martin County, it's a little bit over 10.4 to 10.7%. That's still over the national average. What I would propose to put people back to work is by offering small businesses tax incentives and tax breaks. See, the incumbent is one that believes in corporate welfare. I think we've got to have corporate welfare, but we need to have a workfare program that put people back to work, such as programs like what the governor has recently initiated. But we've got to have more programs like that. But my program would be built around small businesses. See, 75 to 80% of our work that's done around us are done from small companies, 50 people or less. So I would be proposing to give those companies tax incentives and tax breaks in order to hire people, to put people back to work. If we can do that with some of the corporate welfare dollars that they've given us, then we can put a lot of people back to work and much sooner, but we'll also have sustainable growth. I'm just not in it for the sake of putting people back to work. I think we've got to look at other entities to make that successful. We've got to do more to get people educated as well.
Okay.